Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. My name's Jack and today is another LEGO Top 10 MOCs of the week. This is our Sunday episode, and today I'm showing off just the coolest LEGO creations I happened to see throughout the week, at least my 10 favorites. And you can guess that there's quite a few ship builds as well. This is sort of the tail end of Shiptember, where a lot of builders are still releasing lots of pictures of their gigantic spaceships they've been working on all throughout the month of September. Now, if you stick around to the end of the episode, I am showing off fan MOC creations. These are creations you guys have submitted to us throughout the week. Always great different kinds of builds coming from you guys. And if you want to submit a LEGO custom creation of your own or your own LEGO MOC, check out the description below for the proper email and also sort of the formatting that we prefer. Now, jumping right into the top 10 MOCs of the week. This first one isn't actually a LEGO build. I just really like ice cream sandwiches and orange creamsicles. Well, to be honest, that's what I thought I was looking at when I first saw this picture until I realized upon closer inspection that these two builds are indeed made of Lego. And the only way to get detail looking that amazing is if you scale up the builds quite a lot. This came from the builders Carl and Milan, and I have no idea how many parts went into this. These are absolutely gigantic, especially when you see the builders holding them themselves. And if you want to see any more hyper detailed, oversized kind of everyday household objects, I would suggest checking out Carl's Flicker. Personally, I'm a big fan of the gigantic toothbrush build, as well as the gigantic matches with the one burned match. I don't know what the next big household item is going to be from this builder, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. And well, because we're still kind of on the subject of gigantic household items, Milan, the other builder who is part of the ice cream sandwich MOC, also has his own oversized tool. This is a Leica 3. These were considered to be some of the best cameras, at least the compact version of a small photography camera back in their day. They're quite collectible and they have a very sort of distinct look and style. My personal favorite bits of detailing are definitely sort of the black casing has been mimicked pretty well. If you look at the original Leica cameras, there is definitely sort of a rough yet smooth sort of surface that covers the outside, and that was captured really well with all of those tiny one by one rounded corner tiles. And also very much like the detailing for all the different size circles that make up either the lens or the base where it attaches to the camera. And some of you might be guessing how big this is in actual scale to a person. Well, this is the builder holding the Leica 3 camera on their own, and yeah, it's pretty darn gigantic. Now let's move on down to number 8 on the list. This is well, this is just kind of a fun one. It cracked a smile on my face when I saw it. It's called the Millennial Falcon from the builders Melan and Ochre Jelly. We have something that obviously very closely resembles the Millennium Falcon, but being the Millennial Falcon, of course, it's a funny social commentary. Well, I don't know if you could call it social commentary. It's just a couple of funny stereotypes of millennials, being the Falcon actually made of toast with avocado on the top. That's the green. But the funniest part for me is definitely the cockpit being made of a spilled pumpkin spice latte with the actual pumpkin spice flowing on to the toast, which makes up the little arm that attaches it to the body. You could probably guess where they may have bought that pumpkin spice latte, considering the green detailing on the top there. And also, for good measure, we have a selfie stick with the phone in there that makes up the antennae or the dish on the front. On top of that, the detailing for the surface of the toast Falcon, the Millennial Falcon, actually looks pretty good. And I don't know if this was submitted to Rebrick for the Cerulean Freighter contest, but it would definitely have my vote. Now, when we move down to number 7, I just haven't seen somebody do a build quite like this before. And it's a really interesting way to honor classic space. Like so many custom builders do, they'll often make a much more highly detailed version of a spaceship, but still using the classic space colors. This builder, Dr. Mobius, did something a little different. He made the Starfleet Voyager from the set 6929 and did pretty much a perfect recreation of the original set, just scaled up. So now all of the studs that you see on the top are made of 2x2 round tiles. And I guess this week's theme is just scaling things up for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why, but this is the builder holding the Starfleet Voyager. And you can see it is much, much, much bigger compared to what the original set size was. And I generally think this is a really fun concept. The original set design that he worked off of is particularly simple, at least compared to modern day sets nowadays. So I have a feeling feeling this would be a lot more difficult to do maybe with something that came out more recently, but this is just such a fun and unique way to honor the old classic space. And considering this is such a cool build, I wonder if other people are going to mimic this sort of style of recreating Lego sets out of just the larger upscaled version. And I guess only time will tell. So moving down, we've done a couple of ships in a row. Now let's move on to build number 6, which is the Maneki Neko Cat, built by DOGOD Brick Design. This is immediately recognizable as, well, that cat that you always see in Windows. I believe it is originally from Japan as a good luck charm, and the waving part of the cat is sort of like beckoning wealth or fortune to you. The build itself is so good because you can really tell exactly what this thing is supposed to be. I believe it is also built at the same scale that these Maneki Neko cats are usually found in. The detailing for the eyes are really nice. I like the wheel well pieces used for the eyebrows, and the bell on the collar also looks really good too. I feel like this design is so amazing, and I wonder if a builder's gonna try to sort of stand on the shoulders of this one and try to motorize the arm, but I guess we'll see. Now let's jump down to number 5, and I know there's a lot of really good ship builds coming out right around now with the September stuff, but I just had to show off this Naboo Starfighter ship from the builder Inthert. It is, I think, the coolest version of this ship I've seen out of Lego so far. There's just something so nice about how clean and smooth and sleek this build is, because that's really what this ship is all about, and I just haven't quite seen somebody put together this ship in such a specifically detailed way that really captures those curves. This is not an easy kind of build to do. In fact, this might be one of the most technically advanced builds of this week. Even though the size is quite small, check out the cross section, or at least this build sort of pulled apart in certain areas, and you can see that the original designer went to great lengths in order to achieve every small angle that they wanted. Really cool stuff. And now let's move on to a build that has all of those small details sort of on the outside, and this is Simon N.H.'s Tiger. Simple enough title, but a very complex and very cool looking combination of pieces has created this very animated looking tiger. This is a build that, once again, if you look very closely, you can find lots of fun little details sort of hidden throughout. There's minifigure hands that make up the eyes. I see a shell piece that's on the bottom of the chin. There's a combination of different sort of white feathery headdress pieces used for the fur by the face. Black tail pieces are part of the stripes that go around the side, and you can see a lot of different slopes and great pieces that make up a lot of the fur detailing with slight variation of the colors. And this is a build that has such a nice body shape and all of these fun little details that make up sort of the variation of the fur that would be on this big cat, that it really does start to look better and better and almost more realistic the further away you pull from the build. To this scale, this is, I think, the best Lego tiger I've seen. Now we're moving on to the top 3, and this is the last build from September I'm going to show in this episode. From the builder Random Vector and Tyler Kleitz, we have a ship Kell Corona, and it's so hard to choose between all these really awesome ship builds, but this stood out to me in a kind of unique way. I couldn't tell you exactly why. There's just a really good combination of rounded shapes that kind of come together in a bunch of different fun ways. The actual shape of the ship is extremely unique, as you can tell. It almost looks like a hyperdrive ring in the back, but everything here has a sort of smooth, rounded feel to it, and it makes for a very sort of distinct sense of style, and I think just the design has been very well realized. The accent colors are nice and subtle with some of the blue. I like that there's the little bit of lighter or sort of aqua blue sort of added into the center. Kind of gives the glowing effect, especially the way the pictures were taken. And I know there's a million other really awesome ships that came out just around this same time, but this one I just thought was particularly awesome to me. Now, number 2 on the list is from Luca D Lazaro, and it's titled A Little Corner of Italy, which is exactly what it is. I love this because I haven't seen somebody try to take a slice of life from Italy before. Usually we have a lot of stuff that's based on older European design for buildings. Well, Northern European. There's a lot of Asian architecture, but the pastel buildings of Italy with the narrow streets have not yet been built up in, I think, quite as big a build as this, and definitely not without as many details. This is a MOC that really captures a specific atmosphere, you know, with all the cobblestone pieces and the vines growing up the sides of the walls, and you can see tons of little scenes just all over the place, and it makes for a supremely complete atmosphere and also shows off the builder's knowledge and love for Italy. I definitely recommend checking out this particular builder's Flickr and checking out all the different pictures that make this thing up. And now let's move on to number 1 from the top 10 of the week. This is a build from Dwalin Forkbeard called Blow Harry Blow. Now you can almost guess what was happening in this scene. We've got a couple of sailors that maybe they're looking for land, they're stranded, shipwrecked or something. They thought they were coming up on a small little island, but lo and behold, it wasn't an island after all. And now they're being chased by the most terrifying looking whale. Whales normally don't have teeth. This one does, and they look sharp and gangly, and the whole thing is just really terrifying. They even threw some spears into the whale trying to get away. And there's just so many details about this build to love. The shape of the whale is excellent. The detailing for the ocean is awesome. You can see sort of wakes in the water and the rumblings of some of those teeth poking up from the from underneath. And I just noticed this by reading the description, but one of the minifigs is actually he's blowing into the sail to try to get away. Also, this thing was shot incredibly. Just look at this picture right here. That is awesome. I'm not entirely sure how he figured to get a small camera in there, or maybe took part of the whale head off to get that angle, but it looks so cool. And well, yeah, so that is my favorite mock of the week, guys. Now we're gonna move on to custom creations. These are the pictures you guys have submitted to us throughout the week. And remember, if you do want to submit your own custom mock to us to have appear in next Sunday's episode, check out the description below, and also check out the links to all these builders' Flickrs. I've linked all of the top 10 mock pictures. I suggest you guys check out their other inventories of the stuff they've been building. And yeah, all right, that's it for Sunday Top 10 Mocks. Check out the fan creations, and we'll see you next time.